So I'm going to give the first volunteer award out. I'm Kim Morgan. I'm the CEO of United Way of Western Connecticut. And several years ago, we started the volunteer award as part of this ceremony. The person who receives the award is someone who has helped create change in the Stamford community for the betterment of its residents or its businesses. And today I am so thrilled to recognize Andy Zeitlin from Shipman and Goodwin. For those who do not know Andy, he claims he is a litigator. But I really do have my doubts because he is one of the most even-tempered, thoughtful, and peacemaking people that I know. So I will be talking to the Shipman and Goodwin people afterwards to verify. Andy is a compassionate person and an under-the-radar type of volunteer. There is never a doubt when I pick up the phone with a request that Andy will not respond or find a solution for me. He has served on the United Way of Stamford board prior to our merger in 2007, and has since served on the United Way Western Connecticut board as secretary, provided hours of legal consultation and services, sits on our community council in Stamford, and is also a member of our resource development committee. So basically, he volunteers for Shipman and Goodwin, and he works for the United Way. In July, we had a merger with the Volunteer Center of Southwestern Fairfield County, and Andy, along with 3 other United Way board members and the board members from the Volunteer Center, led a completely volunteer negotiation process. Unfortunately, we did not have to spend a single dollar on any administrative or legal costs because of the excellent work of these 2 organizations' volunteers. Andy did not provide just guidance, but legal work to the process, which took over 8 months to complete. And as we now enter our 9th month as a merged organization, I think he can be very proud of what has truly become an integrated organization where volunteerism is weaved seamlessly into the work of the United Way. When the tragedy of 12/14 happened in Sandy Hook, Andy was one of the first people we reached out to for guidance. Immediately, he offered his support, and for the next 12 weeks, made trips up to Newtown to help create a foundation that's comprised of local residents and leaders there to help determine how to spend the over $10 million that's been raised to date for the Sandy Hook School Support Fund. Having him by our side as we waded into uncharted waters is indispensable. I'd like to present this award to Andy Zeitlin and personally thank him for all he's done to build our capacity and vision of United Way.
Thank you very much, Kim. I'm flattered and honored to receive this award. Congratulations to Sherry Shapiro of Kids in Crisis and Rich Colbert of Dave Pitney, as well as the large number of organizations who are receiving awards for their incredible support in the Stamford community to improving the quality of life for those who are the neediest. I also want to thank my wife, Sue, who puts up not only with my long hours at work, but also with the hours I spend at meetings outside of the office, frequently involving the United Way. Finally, but not least, I want to extend a special thank you to my partners and colleagues at Shipman and Goodwin, who have been not only supportive, but encouraging of my volunteer hours with the United Way. When I began working in Connecticut a little over 13 years ago, Robin Frederick, who is now one of my partners at the firm, encouraged me to get involved with the United Way. Robin had been a United Way volunteer herself for quite a while, and she knew that I was looking for a way to get involved and to get to know the Stamford community, especially because I live in Westchester and had only recently started working in Connecticut. Shortly after my conversation with Robin, I became a volunteer with the Fund Distribution Committee, which is how I got to know United Way. Little did I know what I was getting myself into. I was incredibly impressed by the amazing commitment of the United Way staff and volunteers, digesting and evaluating the substantial number of funding applications we receive, and the long hours everyone put in to try to make sure that funds were distributed in a manner that would have the greatest impact on the Stamford community. It was incredibly fulfilling to be a part of a group and a process that would make a difference for the neediest people in our community. Until you've been a volunteer with that committee, it is very difficult to understand the time and effort that goes into that process, with everybody trying to get it right. Throughout the past dozen or so years that I have had the pleasure of working with the United Way's great staff and volunteers, I have continued to be impressed by their dedication and commitment. Simply put, they get it. Whether it's working hard to prevent childhood obesity or trying to rebuild a community that was devastated by the shooting of 26 innocent victims in Newtown, Connecticut, the staff and volunteers get it. It was incredibly impressive to see how quickly Kim Morgan and the rest of the staff responded on December 14th, the day of the Newtown shootings, in setting up a fund that will hopefully ensure that people in the Newtown community will receive desperately needed support services for years to come. To be even a small part of that team has been extremely gratifying. It has been a real privilege to have the opportunity to volunteer for such a terrific organization. Thank you.